Hello, it's Wednesday, June the 11th. It's the day after a runoff primary election in Arkansas. I'm Max Brantley, and I thought I'd give you a little bit of a morning after analysis of the two big races. Leslie Rutledge, a lawyer in Republican Party circles for years, won the Republican nomination for Attorney General by a pretty handy margin over David Sterling, a Little Rock lawyer, 59% to 41%. The news from this election was that voters rejected the huge amount of outside spending, maybe $1 million worth from anonymous sources that was spent for David Sterling. And it was almost all built on the notion that he was tougher on gun laws than she was, specifically an advocate of a stand your ground law. Does this mean stand your ground is not a sellable commodity in Arkansas? Maybe it does. Does it mean voters reject outside money? Maybe it does. It's not a bad sign that either of these things happen, that's for sure. The winner, Leslie Rutledge, will face Nate Steele, a Democrat, in the fall. I think she'll have to moderate a little bit from where she put herself in the primary race to win that election. Nate Steele, by the way, is no liberal at all. Really, the more important race on the ballot yesterday was the runoff for Senate District 17. This is in Boone, Baxter, and Marion counties. Johnny Key has been the senator. He stepped down from the seat, and that created a runoff election between Representative John Burris, who'd been the House minority leader and minority leader, I guess, and was the architect of the private option insurance plan by which Arkansas implemented a different version of Obamacare's Medicaid expansion. He ran against Scott Flippo, a nursing home owner who was backed by all the usual Tea Party sources, had some dark money support of his own. And really the election, despite some disagreement with this, was really all about Obamacare. They tried to pin that on Burris. Burris said that was an unfair characterization, but he certainly was part of a program that does expand government spending on health care in Arkansas by a great amount of money. I happen to think that's a good idea. I happen to think Burris was a very effective leader. He was no liberal. He was ultra-conservative on virtually every issue that counts Republican voters. It came down to a very small margin. Flippo and Burris pretty well split the votes on balance in their home counties, Boone and Baxter. One carried one carried the other, and it was about a dead heat there. Tiny Marion County gave a 200-plus vote margin to Flippo, and that was enough to carry the day for Scott Flippo. Here's the deal. Burris in the legislature was really important for the Republican Party, an effective, smart operator. Flippo celebrated last night like he'd won the presidency. He will not amount to much in the legislature. Those who oppose Obamacare still constitute a small minority of the legislature. They constitute more than 25% of the Senate, however, and this will create immense practical problems in 2015 in reauthorizing the Human Services budget to pay for it. There are a couple of options that could be found as a way around this. I don't think an appropriation is necessary to spend federal money. I think there's a powerful lawsuit that could be filed to continue the program no matter what the vote in the Senate is. I also think the same pressures that led to a brokered solution originally in this still exists. That is, Arkansas needs the money. A couple of 100,000 people have benefited. Hospitals need the money. Insurance companies need the money. Doctors need the money. The people need the money. If a hard core of people like Scott Flippo are willing to say, no, I won't approve this, I'll be a part of a small minority to beat this by a constitutional trick, then we may see a shutdown of government, and we may see a situation where if Asa Hutchinson is elected as Republican governor, he may be sorry about the prize he won. That's where we are this morning. There'll be more later. Thanks a lot.